Hello, friends from the comic and manga world. My name is Hector,
And my name is G.
and we're here to talk to you about our picks for the February 27th FOC. Now, for those of you who don't know, G and I work for Penguin Random House, and we manage sales into the direct comic market around the world. So the titles that we pick and we talk about in these videos are from the publishers and imprints that we represent. Also note that we are on social media aside from YouTube, where this video lives. We also have Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I completely forgot which social medias we had. And you can find us at PRH International Comics. There'll be links in the description for them. So let's get started. And this week it's all about Codex Black. We're gonna hear, if you watch other videos that are coming soon from us, you're gonna hear a lot more about Codex Black. We're extremely excited about Codex Black. Codex Black Book One, A Fire Among Clouds by Camilo Moncada Lozano, and the colorist is Angel de Santiago. So this is from IDW. It goes on sale April 4th, and it's an amazing story. uh takes place in Asian Mesoamerica. First of all, I should also say that the creator and the Camilo Moncala is a Mexican artist, and this was, I think it was posted in Tapas, right? I think that's what it was
Yeah, it
originally,
was it was originally coming out digitally on
on
Tapas. Yeah.
Tapas. Yeah, so this already has a lot of followers, a lot of fans out there, and I'm sure it's going to get a whole lot more as we have it in paper. Now the story is very, very, very cool. It took, like I said, it was Asian Mesoamerica, sort of an Incan Mayan culture kind of mix, and there are these two characters that you see in here in the cover, and the first one in the on the left is this girl Donaji, and if you go to the next slide, you're going to see some interiors, and you're going to see her, and she's a Zapotec girl, and even though she's 15, she's heralded as the hero of the village, and she also talks to this ghost that's inside her that you see in the left bottom corner there. And she sets out to go on an adventure to find her father. And on the way, she meets this 17-year-old, which you're going to see in the next slide. This Mexican warrior named, and this, okay, I hope I get this right. It's Cacatolo. No, Izcacalotl. I know I butchered it. I'm sorry. And over time, they do a partnership and they work together on this mission to find her father. The interiors that you see are extremely beautiful, beautiful colors. There's a lot of Mesoamerican culture that I was mixed into this to the story. So in this adaptation, I don't know if you see it, but on the left side of this slide, there are some words in the middle in white, and it's an asterisk explaining from his first bubble where he says, I will surely be sentenced to death. And there's an asterisk and explains that, if you do not, in order to wear what he's wearing, he was supposed to have special permission, or you could be sentenced to death if you're caught. So there's going to be little tidbits around, like that throughout the story. It gives me a lot of vibes of Made in Abyss, any kind of adventure of two teenagers searching for something or searching for someone, in this case, her father. And I think this is gonna I mean, I had the fortune to read it already, and it's so good, and I can't wait to read more when we this is just book one. So I highly recommend it, and I highly recommend that you take a look at it and stock up, because I think it could be big.
Mhm.
And next up,
So for cover picks, this is kind of obvious that I would pick this
yeah.
because it's Jeff.
It's
issue.
Jeff.
It's Jeff, issue number 1. I really liked the main cover by Guru Hero, and if you didn't know, how do you not know about Jeff the Shark?
Yeah,
But Jeff came out initially through digital on the Marvel Unlimited app, the Infinity uh, that Marvel does. And this is perhaps like one of the most popularly viewed on the Unlimited app. So it stands to reason that we'll have like a physical here, which I'm super excited to also get my hands on. And I just like this cover so much because we have like all of these superheroes all on one cover, and I just love the art of Great Hero as well. And this is a lot of fun. It's like a wholesome, fun read, and I definitely recommend giving it a go, especially picking it up for this FOC. Mhm.
yeah. And we liked it so much that my first pick, cover pick this week is It's Jeff. It's a variant by Doali. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. And this is amazing. Obviously, is you have Jeff kind of doing a reverse Jaws homage because usually the shark is coming from the bottom, and you have at first I thought it was Ant-Man, and then I realized that's Namor on the duck key. Just having a good time floating around a bathtub. You can tell it's a bathtub with bubbles and the tiles in the back, and Jeff is about to just fall on him, either eat him or play with him. Probably play with him if you read the comics.
Yeah.
So this is very cool. Dolly, it's an amazing artist. It's a graphic artist that has done many many posters and some covers also. Obviously, I highly recommend you look him up or looking them up online. And this is obviously an example of the kind of thing that they do.
Hmm.
Yes, very cool. And
Oh,
next is
yeah.
also mine.
Hmm.
And obviously, every once in a while, I have to bring up Star Wars. And this was just so amazing. I love all the covers for this title, which is Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Jabba's Palace, #1. But I had to pick. I couldn't pick one, so the next one is also going to be at one. You don't have to go to the slide yet, but this is the Momoko Women's History Month variant. Momoko did a bunch of these across the Star Wars titles and also a couple of the other Marvel titles, were honoring some of the female characters in the universe. Here is the #1 Star Wars woman, and my favorite character by far, which is Princess Leia, and this is her in on her way to Jabba's palace to rescue Han Solo, dressed as Bosch. She has the mask on her side, and looks like she's looking kind of a star, but fans know that's probably the thermal detonator that she uses to kind of you know uh kind of uses it to as leverage to get more money for Chewbacca, who she's kind of pretending to sell to Jabba the Hutt. And G is like so confused right now because she doesn't know the story,
No.
which is fine. This is two things, obviously the homage to the scene and to this character and all that, but also obviously Jabba's Palace and all this is Return of the Jedi is the 40th anniversary. So there's a lot about Return of the Jedi this year that is coming out and will be coming out. And then on the next slide, like I said, I couldn't pick just one. There's also this amazing 1 in 25 by Alex Maleev. I love Alex Maleev art also, and this is so beautiful. And you see here Boba Fett sort of standing very menacing, looking over a rock, and you see the two suns, sorry, of Tatooine, with kind of the silhouette of Jabba's palace right there behind him. Is very, very beautiful. Um, not much else to say about this one. And it has the little seal on the bottom, as you see, 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi.
Mm.
Very cool.
Okay,
or
a
something
very
completely different.
yeah, we're shifting here. This is Deadpool issue number 5 by David Telesky variant. Telesky, he's like just a joy to
Yeah.
like follow on social media. Just a joy to like hear his thoughts and also see uh their artwork too, because they're really known for putting out like pinup art,
Yeah.
especially with like male like figures.
Hmm.
And this is an example, and I really
Hmm.
love it. And yes.
And you got to point out that, obviously there's plush toys dressed up as Deadpool, and he's holding one that looks very, very familiar, like a familiar Japanese cat that we know.
Japanese cat with
And
a
we're not
bow
gonna
tie
that,
positioned.
of course, yeah. It's very,
Uh,
very cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Next is Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the Dog of War #1 Lower Decks variant by Chris Canoglio. This is amazing. I mentioned this before. I really like Star Trek. I love Star Trek, but I also extremely love Lower Decks, and I love that this might be the second or third cover on a Star Trek book from IDW where they use Lower Decks, and some of the characters actually also from the other franchises, which they show up on Lower Decks. And also it's baseball, heck, you can't go wrong with that. And it's wraparound cover, and the expressions on all their faces. I love that when they do these, they capture all the different personalities of each character, which is amazing. It's so good.
The
Love
other
this one.
covers of these are really cool too.
Yes,
Just
for this book.
recommend checking it out. Yeah.
Yeah, for the Dog of War, because it's such a cool story too. It has to do with a corgi in Deep
Yeah.
Space Nine. Definitely check out this book. I think it's going to be a really cool story. But out of all the covers, I wanted. I mean, I could have picked any of the other covers, but like I said, I'm such a huge fan of Lower Decks that I had to pick this. Yes.
And this is my
Mm.
pick. This is Daredevil issue number 9. This is the Junie Ba variant. This is 1 in 25, and yeah, I loved
This
it.
gets a chef's kiss. Like, mwah, this
It's
is just
great. It's
amazing.
so good
It's
to
really
see
good.
like his abilities represented this way, with like
Hmm.
the radar or like that sense that he has,
Yep.
but like dancing with Electra. But like that kind of
Yeah.
makes sense because like with his
Echo position,
the
Echo something
yeah,
it's called.
I
I forget
echo
what it's.
whatever you call it. It's
Yeah.
slipping my mind. But not only that, like you could see the motion, the nimble
Hmm.
movements, and I just thought it's perfect. It's perfect to have this type of uh art on a cover
Yeah.
representing the two of them here. So this is
I
great.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think they should, like, Juniper should start a whole series of covers of couples, Marvel couples doing dance moves. And
Oh
obviously
yeah.
this ballet completely applies to both
Oh
Daredevil and
yeah.
Elektra. But then you can have, like, I don't know, like Rogue and Gambit doing some other dance, and Jean Grey and and Cyclops maybe doing tango or something.
Uh-huh.
It would be amazing. Just throwing that idea out there.
Yeah, it would be really cool. It's just like so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so much in it that it's as right with this one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Okay, and then we always have a piece of news, and I was
Yep.
like incredibly excited. If you were like me, I was waiting for um well, Seven Seas does like definitely check out their website too, because it'll have information. I'll link it below, some information about these particular titles. So I'll
Yep.
go over them briefly. I married my female friend, and it's exactly what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to read this. It's a slice of life Yuri manga from the creators of Donuts Under the Crescent Moon. And we have these two women who basically agreed that if they don't have a partner within, I believe, 5 years, then it's basically a marriage pact where they'll just go in and decide to marry each other. And so 5 years have passed and no one is attached at this point. So they're like,
Yeah.
let's do this thing. And so they share a home together. It's very domestic, very cute. And then you get to see whether or not they actually fall in love because at this moment they're just like
Mm-hmm.
friends who just decided to like cohabitate together.
I love that it's
But
a twist on
yeah.
that trope that's been in a lot of romantic comedies out there
Mhm.
of two friends to say, let's pretend like we're together and see what happens if because we haven't been married in all these years or we're just friends forever and
Mhm.
they you know will they or won't they fall in love
Yeah.
and then they just twist it a little bit, which is great. Hmm.
And then this one, the next one, Dungeon Friends Forever. It's
Yeah.
a fantasy rom-com, and it's about the human adventurer you'll see waving in the background there, and
Hmm.
his childhood friend. But interestingly enough, his childhood friend is a dragon girl boss of a dungeon. And as adults, the human Van, he becomes. I mean, he still continues as this adventurer, and Ruka, who is the girl boss, becomes this like very renowned, dangerous boss of a dungeon, and Ruka has to sort of he gotta beat up her underlings. It's, like, kind of like a
Yeah.
weird, like, they're friends, but also I have to, like, beat up your minions as
Yeah.
well. Like, it's a weird it's a weird, pass off there, but, in order for him to wanna hang out with her, it's just, like, planning game nights together and
Mhm.
just hanging out. And it's just like a really fun rom-com. So if you're looking for something like this,
Yep.
definitely recommend like keeping your eyes peeled when this comes out physically. And
Yep.
then next up, we also have two more announcements from Seven Seas. We have Breakfast with My Two-Tailed Cat. As you
Hmm.
can see, the cat is giant. So basically, this giant talking cat rescues a man from loneliness, and they just enjoy the countryside together, eating delicious food, as you can see on the cover there. He's actually a widow who's trying to move on, and his like solitary life gets interrupted by this cat and it actually he's a widow, but the cat used to belong to his wife, and the cat actually comes out. I mean, the reason why the cat is so big is the cat is a yokai cat,
Hmm.
with two tails, as you
Yeah.
can see here. So this is just like a really heartwarming,
Hmm.
very slice of life story, very domestic as well, and it's like
Yeah.
it definitely falls in line with what I like. And then we have this next title, which is really cool. This is Chi on the Movements of the Earth. This would be an omnibus format, and this is going to be available in English physically in this format for the first time. This is like an epic historical fiction. It's set in the 15th century, and so at this time back then, it was seen as like heresy to think that the sun is in the center of the universe. And this child prodigy named Rafa is introduced by the truth that I mean, the center of the universe is, or the sun being the center. Uh, he discovers that truth by his mentor, and he's being chased after the Inquisition because of his heretical beliefs and viewpoints. And so he has to flee from that. from, the Inquisition, who is enacting justice, what they consider as justice. And he has this pendant that you'll see here to guide him as he's fleeing that. And he discovers his master's research, and he's trying to figure out a way to sort of get the world to believe in the science and to believe in the truth. And so you'll discover that here in this particular title. Hector was pretty
Yeah,
you had mentioned.
I love historical dramas like this one, and
Yeah.
obviously, for fans of Vinland Saga, although that's about Vikings and all that, but it's that historical adaptation and into manga that I love. I really love. After isekais, which I know I mention all the time, that's my ultimate favorite. I really love anything that's historical and based on history, which is great.
I love when they announced this. It's such various it's like various genres of titles, like
Yeah, it
literally.
does have a little bit of of
Yeah, you can.
several things. Yeah, because it
Yeah,
does
yeah.
have
So
a little bit of the science part of it, and it sounds like it's going to go into explaining some of the science of it. It does have a little bit of, obviously, the history. It does have it sounds like it have a little bit of everything, yeah, in it.
and with
Yes.
all of these titles, like, you could really find any reader, like, to
Yep.
depending on what your preferences and your tastes are. This was a good collection of licenses for
Yes.
them to call out. So yeah.
Yep.
All right, and that's
That's
it
it.
for that.
That's it for this week. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you come back, and feel free to, like and comment below and let us know what other things you want to see. Like I mentioned before, we do this. Well, first of all, we do this every week, and we do other kinds of videos, but we're also on social media on other channels. We're on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram. So make sure to follow those too for some news and some interesting new titles that are coming up. And again, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.
Bye, everyone.